Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Soso, and welcome back to another episode of Fight Rewind. This time, we're previewing Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia this Saturday, April 22nd in Las Vegas. And we got the man, none other than himself, Victor Bermudez, joining us tonight to talk about it. What's up, my brother?
What's up, my dude? How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. Always good having you on for these big fights, man. We don't get to do this often.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It means a lot every time you give me that call, and whatever it is, man. You know me, bro. I'll show up like Batman, bro.
Yeah,
You
bro.
send that signal out.
You're number one on my list, dog. Trust me, you're number one on my list, dog, for sure. Bro, this is an exciting fight, Vic, because this is something that we haven't really seen in the last couple of years, right? A real mega fight with two undefeated superstars who are pretty much in their primes or getting into their primes and literally putting everything on the line for an undisputed title. Even though it's at a catch weight of 136, it's still, putting themselves in that number one pound for pound spot, at least when it comes to their division.
Credit to both guys. Credit to both promotions. Credit to obviously Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya. Credit to Al Heyman for making this fight. Credit to all around. Most importantly, to, as you said, Gervonta and Ryan Garcia. The fact that these guys are in their 20s, both have decent resumes. Both could take on whoever they want. There is a long list for Ryan Garcia. There's a long list for Gervonta Davis. And both of these guys, for a long time, I mean, a long time, have been asking for each other and wanting to take on each other. Ryan Garcia has been begging for this fight.
Begging for it.
And I mean, I don't understand why. Because for a long time, I've been thinking, no, you don't want that guy just yet. You don't want that guy just yet, man. So kudos to him for asking for this fight, for making the fight. Listen, Ryan Garcia has done a lot to make this fight. You can call him whatever you want, call him the pretty boy, call him the next golden boy, call him a model, call him a social media sensation. But Ryan Garcia has done a lot to make this fight. It was all the stipulations on Gervonta's part, the rehydration clause, the rematch clause, the weight clause, the catch weight clause, not just the fact that Ryan Garcia on fight morning has to weigh in at a certain amount. It's ridiculous that the Al Heyman and Gervonta Davis, the rules they put in place, the contract negotiations. But Ryan Garcia has agreed to it all because he dares to be great. They both are, man. So kudos to both guys and to boxing for being able to get this done when there's promotions and all the backlash that boxing gets and the bad rep for the sport is dead. These guys have given us the fight of the year, the fight that everybody has wanted to see. So I can't be more complimentary towards both of them because this is unfortunately what Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford should have done years ago. What Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather failed to do at a meaningful time and a timely manner. So kudos to both these guys. Can't praise them enough.
Absolutely. And you know what, Vic? I think it's really going to set a precedent moving forward, right? Because we in the next month, we're going to see Haney versus Lomachenko. Lomachenko, a great champion in his own right. Devin Haney, undisputed champion in his own right. Like, these are fights that need to be happening more often. And not to save boxing, but to really bring back that excitement around it, right? Because there is that much talent. And, you said it earlier, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, they're both like world-class fighters. If you had to make the case for Ryan Garcia winning this fight, what would it be?
That's hook. The fact that he's faced it's easy to say left hook. Everybody knows he's got a mean left hook and
Right.
83 knockout percent. He hits you, you go down. That's what Ryan does. To me personally, I feel is the fact that he's been through it, that he knows what it's like to touch that canvas, to look up, look confused. I honestly didn't think he'd get up from Luke Campbell's shot. The way he fell, shoulder behind him, just falls awkwardly. I remember I was watching with a mutual friend of ours. I got up out of my chair. Ryan Garcia is. I admit it, man. I'm biased towards Ryan. I have a long-standing relationship with the kid. Been there before. It was cool to be a Ryan Garcia fan. So I'm a big advocate for him and a fan of his. But just if I have to make a case for him, I'm not delusional either. I think Gervonta Davis is the better fighter. But if you have to make a case for Ryan Garcia, it's just that. The man has faced adversity. The man knows what it's like to go down and get back up. He's been under the tutelage of, now he's with Goosen, but before that it was with Canelo and Eddie Reynoso. And his resume impresses me a little bit more, to be honest with you. Luke
Yeah.
Campbell is on Ryan's resume. And out of the two, you pair up those records. Look, I get it. I know what people are going to say. Yurioki Scamboa, former gold medalist. Leo Santa Cruz, we've seen what he's done to my boy Abner Mars, not once but twice. But Yurioki Gamboa going up in weight. Leo Santa Cruz going up in weight. Isaac Cruz, Pitbull gave Gervonta all he could handle. Gamboa
Everything.
on a torn Achilles. Regardless, I still think that Gervonta has enough to pull out this fight. He should, but there's an advantage for Ryan. It's one, that left hook, and two, man knows how to get off that canvas, and that is a lot to be said.
Yeah, he had to grow up, right? And that was a coming of age moment for him because people really didn't see him as that type of warrior, the type of guy who can take a shot, right, and get back up and not only go out there and execute his game plan, but go out there and get the knockout in impressive format, right, and come back around later. That's why I think that this fight is so interesting because if Ryan is able to survive Gervonta's power, I really do think that it gives him a chance to go out there and win a couple of rounds against him. But, you know, when we talk about the flip side and Gervonta Davis, this guy has put you to sleep power. And a lot of people are predicting a knockout. Is this something that you see happening earlier in the fight or something later in the fight?
Look, it's hard to say. Gervonta, for the most part, I know he has a good amount of knockouts within the first few rounds, but Gervonta tends to start slow for the most part. He likes to pick and choose his opponents. He's a lot slower starter than Ryan is.
True.
Ryan has a lot of knockouts within the first 2 rounds. So it'd be interesting to see. And Gervonta can wear you down. Plus, it's his intention to do so. He has proclaimed that he wants to take Ryan Garcia to deep waters. We'll see. Is he able to do that? He's also the shorter fighter. Ryan Garcia fights tall, extremely tall for my liking. If he's able to land something early that can floor Garcia, I don't think Gervonta is going to let him get up and recuperate. I think he's going to stay on top of him. So I know it sounds like a cop-out, but Gervonta has the power to end it however he wants.
True. It's not a cop-out.
But he does tend to start slow. We saw it with Romero. We've seen it in the past. Gamboa, again, on a torn Achilles, took him into later rounds. Isaac Cruz was able to handle his power. So it's depending on what Gervonta Davis we get that night. Maybe he does just want to feel him out, and maybe he does want to punish Ryan, or maybe Ryan surprises the kid and is a totally different fighter than what he anticipates. It's going to be fun to watch. I know that, and it should be. I can tell you this. I can pretty much guarantee you this doesn't go to the final bell. I think both fighters are looking for a knockout. I think they don't know any other way, because you don't see great defense from either guy. You don't see either guy holding. Ryan Garcia, unfortunately, doesn't know how to hold. So he's either going to get knocked out or be the one ending the fight with a knockout with that left that is so impressive. So it's fireworks, man. Don't blink. This could be over in 1, 2, or we can have a really good fight, and this can go a little longer. But fortunately for us, for the fans, I think this goes, say, past 7 rounds and ends by a knockout. Most likely Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, that's not a bad prediction, man, because it's like you said, these guys are coming out here to prove a point. We've seen it in the fact that they've bet each other's purse against each other, right? Like, just raising the stakes. I get it, but what I think is, like, it raises the stakes of how important it is to them and their belief to say, bro, I'm gonna finish you and I'm gonna take your money. You know what I mean? And credit, like you said earlier, to both of these guys for towing the line and really stepping into that ring. What's interesting about this fight also, Vic, that we don't normally get with such young fighters is the fact that they do have a common opponent. Francisco Fonseca, he fought both Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Out of those 2 fights, which do you think was the most impressive win against that common opponent that you can see translating into this fight?
Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia. And they both mentioned it. They both brought it up that they had that one common opponent. Going back to what you said, though, I like the comparison. I think that's something that you obviously need to look at. But going back to, you mentioned something, man, and I think this has been lost on the most media covering it, public, fans. They're starting a trend, and I think that's what's being lost. these two guys in their early 20s are starting a trend. There's a new wave of fighters coming in, and they don't care about that O as much as the old guard did, as much as the Floyd Mayweathers, as much as the Joe Calzaghe who retired,
Andre Ward,
Andre Ward. Yes, these guys, they don't care, man. They're in it to make money quick now and build a legacy. They don't care what their record says. And it's what we saw in the 70s and the 80s, man. You go back and you look at those guys, and they all fought each other, and they had 5, 6, 7, 8 losses, and nobody cared because they were fighting each other. And Ken Norton can come out and beat Muhammad Ali, and then Muhammad Ali can come and beat George Foreman, who just beat Joe Frazier, and then Joe Frazier loses to Muhammad Ali, and that's what you saw. Hearn, Hagler, they were all the same. Roberto Duran, Leonard, these guys were daring to be great. They wanted to be great. They wanted to be a household name. And I think that's what's coming up, man. I see it in these kids, man. I see it in Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Shakur Stevenson. These guys are coming for each other's throats. And one thing is we're seeing, they want all the belts. For a long time in the 4-belt history, we weren't getting those undisputed champs. It had been quite some time. These guys, they want all the belts and are willing to do whatever mandatory and pay whatever sanctioning fees, even as ridiculous as they may be for the IBF and the WBO and WBA and WBC. They want it all, man. And I think that's not receiving enough credit. I don't think it's receiving enough attention, because I do sincerely think they're starting a trend, man. This is the wave. This is what's going forward. And we're going to see a lot of guys. You've seen it with Shakur and Devin. They're already calling each other out. And Devin is saying, nah, man, I want the winner of that. And Devin's already fighting Lomachenko. Yeah. Another tall task in his own right. So I'm proud of these two. I love what the sport of boxing is at least what we seem to see on the horizon, because these guys are different, man. They're different cats.
No, and you said it, bro. You ripped off like 4 or 5 names there straight. And that between 135, 136, all the way up to 147, there's a deep, deep pool of talent of some real highly skilled boxers. You know what I mean? That if they wanted to, they can really make boxing like hit that next level where you're getting those mega pay-per-view fights 2 times a year, maybe even 3 times a year. You know what I mean? And you're right. I think this is one of them for sure, man. I really do see it going Davis's way, right? Because he just has that sleep power. But it wouldn't surprise me if Ryan won because of, again, the experience that he has. Do you think that a fight like this would make Davis's legacy even greater because he gets Ryan Garcia? And do you think that they give each other a rematch afterwards?
It all depends on how well the pay-per-view buys, on what lies ahead for Gervonta Davis. I could see a rematch being made, or I could see Gervonta Davis moving on from this fight, because he has said that he wants to annihilate everyone. He wants Shakur. He wants Devin Haney. Right. I think they're both going to come out stars. We've spoken about this off air. I think they're both so young in their career that one loss on their resume is not going to do much, and that one loss is to a future star, if not the best in the division at the time. Whoever wins this fight, Davis is already up there. Whoever wins this fight is going to be considered among top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, top 5 easily. And I think Davis is already on that list in that category. So sky's the limit for the winner of this fight. And money talks, man. If the money's right, which it should be, T-Mobile is sold out. They just opened up tickets for standing room only.
Fire.
The stars are going to be out there. It's at the T-Mobile, so MGM Grand couldn't even fit this. You're talking about 2 guys headlining their first ever like big. I know.
Oh, this is it, bro. This is big fight. This is a big fight.
Yeah, I'm well aware of Garcia at San Antonio. I'm aware of Davis in Atlanta and Washington. But this is different, man. When you headline a pay-per-view in Vegas, this ain't the Staples Center, man. This ain't, this ain't San Antonio, this ain't Washington, this ain't Atlanta. This is big lights, pay-per-view, MGM Grand Garden or hotel, whatever. The T-Mobile's owned by MGM, man. So it's all MGM anyways. But T-Mobile Arena, 19,000 in attendance. It should be do well over 1 million pay-per-view buys. So
for sure.
I'm looking forward to it, man. This is the fight of the year by far, and to me, the biggest fight since Conor McGregor and Mayweather.
Wow,
that's just the way I feel about it.
That's huge, man. That's huge because it does really have that potential to be such a historic big fight, right? Because of the precedent is going to be set, like we talked about. You know what, Vic? You always in tune with the people who are coming down the line and the next upcoming boxer. Name one guy who's fighting on this card that you're specifically going to pay attention to, so our viewers can pay attention to him as well.
I don't necessarily know if this card has that future star that you say, like, man, this guy, you must watch this guy. I don't think they did such a great job with the undercard on this fight. They don't need to. Future star, I've been on this man's bandwagon, Xander Sayas. He returns on June 10th up in Madison Square Garden. They tried to sell you on Edgar Berlanga as the next great Puerto Rican. No, man, the next biggest star out of Puerto Rico, the next biggest star in boxing, period, is Xander Sayas, fighting right out of here, out of Davie, Florida, by way of Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico. That dude is legit. That man is the youngest fighter to sign to Top Rank Boxing at the age of 15, undefeated, possesses everything you possibly can imagine. There's a reason why Bob Arum, the legend, the Hall of Fame promoter that is Bob Arum, went out and signed this kid at just 15 years of age with no experience, had to wait, made his pro debut at 17 in only Vegas and Texas, where you could fight at 17 years old. If you're looking for a future star, in my opinion, by far, Xander Sayas. Look no further.
And I'm loving his energy, bro, because he's been really focused. He's coming off an injury, right? He had to cancel his last fight, but he seems focused and always working in the gym. Real humble dude. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to talking to him one day.
He is so weird that in his last couple fights, I've told him, I looked at him, I'm like, why are you getting chin checked, bro? He's like, I just want to show that I can take it. Oh. Like, he is, dude, this man.
Boxer. That's a boxer.
I'm telling you, bro, this kid, I can't speak highly enough about him. Level-headed, family kid, like, does not forget anyone, man. Just proving that you could come from a great family and still be determined in this ruthless sport and do it the right way. I can't tell you enough about him, man. I can't speak highly enough about him. Huge fan of Xander Sayas, extremely biased. But if you haven't heard, look him up, watch him on June 10th. Because you're going to realize why he's the future of this sport, man.
He's the real deal, man. He's the real deal. Victor, man, I appreciate your time very much, dog. Yes, you got Gervonta Davis winning by knockout. It's not the most uncommon thing, but clearly everybody's expecting some type of fireworks this Saturday.
That's what you're going to expect, man. I'm telling you, don't blink, because any of these guys, bro, if Gervonta does slip that right hand and that left hook comes in, it's going to be interesting to see if he can take that power, because I promise you, he's never been hit like Ryan Garcia can hit. And can Ryan Garcia avoid that uppercut? I do think Gervonta Davis possesses the best uppercut in the game, and it is deadly. I mean, folks don't get up for him.
Ferocious. It's ferocious.
93% of the time, it is night-night. And for Ryan Garcia, it's 83% of the time when he connects with that left hook, it's night-night. So someone's going to be seeing stars.
Absolutely, man. And we're going to be there watching it on April 22nd, live at the T-Mobile Arena. Victor, man, I appreciate your time again, bro, joining us here on Fight Rewind.
Anytime, my man. You know how to fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in. This is another Fight Rewind. We previewed the Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia fight this Saturday, April 22nd. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because we're going to keep bringing you stuff like this more often. It's your boy So. Peace.